For the extinct Baltic tribe, see Curonians. The Kuršininkai are a nearly extinct Baltic ethnic group living along the Curonian Spit. Kursenieki refers only to inhabitants of Lithuania and former East Prussia that speak a Latvian language dialect. Autochthonous inhabitants of Palanga in Lithuania call themselves Kursenieki as well, but in Lithuania they usually are counted as Latvians. Confusion. Kursenieki are often confused with the extinct Curonian Baltic tribe, as neighboring ethnic groups called Kursenieki as Curonians. In German, Latvian and Lithuanian, Kursenieki and the Curonian tribe are known by the same terms. In scientific Lithuanian literature, the name Kursenieki is used to distinguish them from the Curonian tribe. Similarly, in Latvian, Kursenieki is used mostly exclusively by scientists to distinguish them from the Curonian tribe. On the other hand, Kursenieki should not be confused with Kursenieki, which are the geographical group of Latvians from Courland. Kursenieki are often considered descendants of the extinct Curonian tribe. The Kursenieki have never designated themselves as Latvians, and their own language was called Curonian language. From a linguistic point of view, it is a dialect of Latvian. In German and Latvian writings of the 19th century, Kursenieki sometimes are called Prussian Latvians. Kursenieki were loyal to Germany and identified themselves as German citizens and ethnic Kuršininkas. History. Origins. The origin of the Kursenieki is unclear. One version says that they are indigenous descendants of the Curonian tribe who lived there since antiquity, at least along the Curonian Spit. During the conquest of the Old Prussians and Curonians by the Teutonic Knights, the area became nearly uninhabited. In the process of various migrations of the 14th–17th centuries, Curonians from Courland settled near Memel along the Curonian Spit, and in Sambia. They preserved the old self-designation of Curonians, while Curonians who stayed in Courland became Latvians. The Kursenieki were assimilated by Germans, except along the Curonian Spit where some still live. Until 1945, several places in Sambia were named after Kursenieki, including Kranz-Kuren, Neu-Kuren, Groß-Kuren, and Klein-Kuren. In 1649, Kursenieki lived from Memel to Danzig. In the end of the 19th century, the total number of Kursenieki was around 4,000 persons. Interbellum Kursenieki were considered Latvians after World War I when Latvia gained independence from the Russian Empire. This consideration was based on linguistic arguments and was the rationale for Latvian claims over the Curonian Spit, Memel, and some other territories of East Prussia. Later these claims were removed. In 1923 the newly created Memel territory separated the Curonian Spit in two parts. This separation interrupted contacts between Kursenieki. In 1933 Latvia tried to establish a cultural center for Kursenieki of the Curonian Spit where the majority of them live, but was opposed by Lithuania, to which the Memel territory belonged. Latvian books that were sent to Kursenieki were confiscated and accused of communist propaganda. After World War II. Near the end of World War II, the majority of Kursenieki fled from the Red Army during the evacuation of East Prussia. Kursenieki that remained behind were subsequently expelled by the Soviet Union after the war and replaced with Russians and Lithuanians. Some Kursenieki managed to return to their homes after the war, but only 219 lived along the Curonian Spit in 1955. Many had German names such as Fritz Hans, a cause for anti-German discrimination. Russian settlers called the Kursenieki fascists, while Lithuanian settlers called them Prussians. In the Lithuanian SSR, church services in German were banned. Because of this discrimination, many immigrated to West Germany in 1958, where the majority of Kursenieki now live. Neither Lithuania nor Russia has allowed the return to Kursenieki of property confiscated after World War II. Culture. Curonians are one of the Baltic tribes. The culture, religion and architecture is similar to those found in Germany and Sweden. Curonians are related with Lithuanians and Latvians. The Kursenieki were predominantly Lutheran, like most former inhabitants of East Prussia, although some ancient pagan customs were preserved. Most Kursenieki were bilingual or even trilingual. The Curonian language was used within the family, and while fishing, German was used in everyday communication, and the language of church services was German and Lithuanian. The Kursenieki were primarily fishermen. Some elements of cuisine are named after Kursenieki. For example, Curonian coffee, a drink made of vodka flavored with coffee, honey and other ingredients, was popular throughout East Prussia. The first who took an interest in Kursenieki culture and language was Paul Quarka, a member of the separatist movement of Memel territory. His book, Kurich's Water Butt, is a highly valuable source of information. The work of describing the heritage is continued by one of the last remaining Curonians, Richard Peach. Language. The so-called New Curonian language is a dialect of the Latvian language spoken by the Kursi of the Curonian Spit, a thin strip of land stretching between southwestern Lithuania and Russia. In the process of various migrations of the 14th–17th centuries, Curonians settled along the Curonian Spit in East Prussia and became known as the Kursi. New Curonian was influenced by Old Prussian, Low German, High German and the Samogitian dialects successively, and by the end of the 18th century New Curonian dialects had formed, with the dialect of the Curonian Spit being notably distinct, due to its isolation from the mainland. New Curonian vocabulary published in 1927 shows 60% of Curonian words were the same as Latvian, 26% were loanwords from German, and 13% from Lithuanian dialects. The New Curonian language is mutually intelligible with Latvian, especially with its southwestern dialects, and Latvians can communicate easily with Kursi today. Before World War II, the New Curonian language was a sociolect of Kursu fishermen of the Curonian Spit. In other spheres of everyday life, Kursi used the Low German and High German languages. The events of the first half of the 20th century, including the Soviet and German occupations of the Baltic states and later East Prussia, led to the near extinction of the language, making it severely endangered. Several remaining native speakers live in Germany, having been expelled in the ethnic cleansing that took place in East Prussia after World War II. Surnames. The surnames of Kursenieki have various origins, including Latvian, some with elements of Old Curonian, Gulbas, Kakis, Kuit, Kukulitis, Pinkies, Strangulis, Detskate, Jakate, Lithuanian, Kalvis, Lauzeninks. Lithuanian or Latvian or Old Prussian, Dulles, Powans, German, Kier, Schmidt, Proto-Baltic, Englands, Samogitian, Peach, Polish, Shadowski, Old Prussian, Shekan. Famous people. Immanuel Kant had Kursenieki roots on his paternal side. Ludwig Ries, a translator, member of Lithuanians movement.